Rob Grimes with the IFBTA, and today I'm thrilled to have one of our Meet Our Member series with a very special industry supporter partner, PAR Technologies, and actually with an old-time friend joining me today he's not old, but he certainly is a good friend, joining me today for a conversation, and welcome to Meet Our Member. And let me introduce Paul Rubin, who is the Chief Strategy Officer and Senior Vice President of Product Management for Operator Cloud for PAR Technology. So welcome, Paul.
Thank you. Very good to be here.
So we get to talk all the time.
Yes.
But I'm sure there's a lot more people that seen you from afar would love to get to actually talk to you, given your background and history. So why don't we start with, how about giving us a description of where PAR today is? And actually, I wouldn't mind how you came into the whole piece, because you're playing a significant role in the company.
Yep. So I originally came into the company. I was one of the founders of Brink Software, Brink POS, which we now refer to as PAR POS. And so I've spent about the last 10 years continuing to build not only the solution that I came into the company with, but many other parts of the business as well. I'm fortunate enough to cross many of our products and get to work with our leadership team on building out things like our M&A strategy as well.
And you have a long history, actually, even before you were one of the co-founders of Brink. You really do understand operations, don't you?
Yes, I'm a software engineer by trade, very much enjoy writing software. And I had the privilege to work for 4 very large companies. I worked for Kinko's at about 1,200 stores back when Kinko's existed. Jenny Craig when they were about 1,100 stores. I was at Starbucks from somewhere between 1,800 and 5,000 stores. And I was with Jack in the Box for about 7 years. And so lots of experience working in technology and point of sale.
What I would point out, though, is lots of experience, but also in different segments, including retail in there, and the service industry, and certainly in Jenny Craig. So that gives you sort of an interesting perspective, plus an international perspective and a growth perspective that you brought, to PAR in the acquisition of Brink. And so why don't you give us an idea then of the scope of PAR Technologies and what are we really talking about? Because I have a feeling that there's a lot more under the hood than people know about.
Yes, absolutely. PAR as a company has been growing very quickly in the last few years, continues to grow very quickly. I think that one of the things people may not know, one is that, we grow very aggressively now through acquisition. We've acquired a great many solutions over the last 3, 4, 5 years. But within that, we continue to also invest pretty heavily in organically growing our solutions, right? So we don't put all the money just into acquiring companies and buying the business, but we continue to invest heavily, making sure that the best of breed solutions that we acquire remain best of breed solutions, and that they not only work better together within our larger suite of solutions, but that they win on their own merits as well, that they provide.
Well, I love that last piece. So the win on our own merits. If we just think about what does that mean, to me, in a world of, all in one or best of breed, what I think you're saying is that you've focused on acquisitions that are clearly best of breed acquisitions in each individual thing. But when you put them together and continue that development, whether a person purchases all of them as as an all in one, or whether they purchase them separately, they're going to work better all together. Better together, but at the same time, as a standalone product working within your systems, are going to serve as best of breed.
Yes, that's absolutely very true. We do believe that, as technology becomes a bigger and bigger part of the service experience in a restaurant, that, dealing with vendor spaghetti can be hard, and many organizations don't want to do it. But we still see many organizations that very much want a best of breed out, right? They want to choose all the individual pieces. I think we've understood that we show up best when we meet the customer where they are.
Well, of course, many different size and shapes of operations out there, but also stages of life. If you get a startup or somebody who's growing very rapidly, they can go with you and they can just continue with you throughout the life cycle and know that you're going to cover the different pieces they need. But at the same time, they're doing acquisitions, they're coming together, or they may have some embedded systems. So it's not, an all in one, it's not all or nothing where you would have to replace everything. No, you can go ahead and ease in and bring these products in as you need them and, pick and choose.
Very, very true. We would always argue that there's a strong value to having fewer vendors and ensuring that the products are well integrated, but we never ever would insist on that. The customer is always in charge.
So I'd like to break it down a little bit so we understand what's in the suite and the portfolio. But one thing I'm not so sure that people recognize is, you can see the PAR label on hardware and equipment around the world. And
Yeah.
so you are as much a innovative hardware company as you are a software company. Now maybe you want to be known the other way around, especially with your background, but you are equally known as a best in both.
Correct. Yep. Many of our products are software-led solutions that very much include hardware, but hardware, right, is something that the company's been doing for over 40 years. As you mentioned, we do it around the world. We're very proud of the time and energy we invest in the hardware, and we are also very proud to be one of the vendors that actually can go out with our own W2 employees and support that equipment on site in many cases as well. So we continue to invest in that part of the business as well as our software.
How many countries do you guys sell products in?
I don't even know the number off the top of my head, but it is many, many parts of the world, certainly every continent.
Well, many years ago it was about 110, just to be clear. But and I think that was through some of the larger clients that you had. But I know that you do have a global scope, and of course, in this world, software can be global too because of the cloud. Well, you've got it in your title, right? Product management for operator cloud. So cloud-based really must have helped to propel the company worldwide as well as a solution.
Yes, absolutely. Gone are the days where we have a server class computer living in the back office of the restaurant, running the restaurant, and a team at corporate, trying to run thousands of those locations. We unify all that with a single system of record for configuration, for sales history, and that's really been what's propelled PAR POS.
So, Paul, while we have hardware that clearly can run globally, and that is one of the stumbling blocks for a lot of people who need to expand, and that means that hardware can be software independent if you have regional software. You guys do have point of sale software as well that works, globally. I think you have different versions and things that can accommodate both North America and other parts of the world.
Yes, absolutely. We've long had our Pixel Point point of sale software solution, which does run in many, many countries around the world. And we've more recently acquired Task, which also gives us,
Australia.
yes, Task out of Sydney, Australia. So that gives us a launching pad for more international presence. They're in about 11 countries today and growing.
Wow. So, what about other products besides point of sale? Are there specific? Can you just sort of discuss, the different specific areas and product lines that are great on their own but better together?
Yes, absolutely. We have our Data Central back office product, which is a full back office product. It does inventory, it does forecasting, it does ordering, it does labor scheduling, it does reporting. There's a great amount of back office capacity in that product. We bought it as a best of breed. We've continued to invest in it, and it remains a best of breed. But we have better together integrations like real time data feeds that make the products work really well together. We acquired Punch, which is the industry leading loyalty provider in our space. It serves about 80,000 restaurants. And
It
again,
also, wait, Punch also does work in the convenience store industry because I've seen them at some of those shows.
yes, it does work in the convenience store industry. We did acquire another business by the name of Stuzo. We now refer to it as Par Retail. And that particular company was born in the C-store space. And so more and more, the percentage of customers that were running Punch in C-stores are moving towards our Par Retail solution. But they're both very, very successful and good solutions on their own.
Hey, if you don't mind my asking for you to put your chief strategy officer hat on for a second,
Mhm.
um, I think that's a brilliant strategy because one of the biggest opportunities out there, is the crossover between restaurants and food service and C stores.
Yep, absolutely. We saw that trend evolving more and more, particularly with the economy doing some of the things it's doing lately. We see people trading down, and part of that is buying food more on the go. And so, food service and C stores was an opportunity that we did identify and targeted with that particular acquisition.
All right, so Paul, you've mentioned Punch,
Yes.
and we've also mentioned that Punch is in some other industries as well. I do know, by the way, that Par, you'll find Par terminals in all kinds of industries as well. I believe that it may be in the gaming environment. You might have some Par sitting in the cruise ships. That those are, we've got a lot of industry segments out there. Do you actually have solutions for all of them? Which the answer is probably no. But how many segments do you play in, or that people should just know that Par is there?
Yep. So our principal focus is on food service and traditional restaurants and C stores, but our hardware, in particular, does go beyond that. So we do have value-added resellers that do sell our hardware into, as you mentioned, cruise ships. We're certainly in many casinos, to include the Caesars properties, and we're also in multiple movie theater chains. More and more in the casino space, our hardware is making it not just from the restaurants, but also out into the table game space.
Would they also have your software running in the food and beverage in the restaurants?
In some cases, they do. In some cases, they will have software from our value added reseller running on it. So there's
Oh,
really
yes, of course, I understand. Because I've seen some of that out there as well. But also in this marketplace today, where you have even hotels doing bringing in outside restaurants and things, and you have them in casinos. If their customers are yours, they're going to be bringing Par software into those environments as well.
absolutely correct. When you walk through the casinos, out at the trade shows, et cetera, when we're out there, you certainly will find our software running on our hardware as well.
So what? Okay, so we talked about Data Central, we talked about Punch, we talked about Task. You know, um, in this world, everybody seems to be focused on payments. I find this fascinating because there are payment companies, that are buying up POS companies, and a lot of the offerings today, require payment in there. But as an alternative, do you have a payment solutions in there as well?
Yes, we do have a payments business that we founded a few years ago. It's one of the faster growing parts of our business internally. And it's tightly coupled into many of our products. And I will point out that while we don't require our payments, and I think that's a point of differentiation for us, payments integrated brings a lot of value, particularly when you start to talk about things like our wallet product, which really allows a unification across all channels of payments, and it helps with things like guest identity or tracking guests that aren't part of our loyalty program and we don't know who they are yet. By tokenizing their credit card and tracking it across the channels, we provide a lot of additional visibility. In addition, there are products like Apple's value added services, or VAS product, that can do things like, with a single tap of your Apple Watch, you can not only pay, but be identified as a member of the loyalty program. And if you're not a member of the loyalty program yet, you can receive a prompt on your phone to ask you to join. A lot of those types of solutions require changes to the payment device. You have to have a relationship with Apple, needs integration with the point of sale system, so it crosses many products. So we find that by having multiple parts of the ecosystem under one umbrella, we're able to more easily and more quickly bring solutions to customers that they might not otherwise be able to access.
Boy, it sounds like they'd be better together.
They are definitely better together. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm learning from you here. So, but I think that's a great slogan because, and I don't want to miss that part that a point, you said the word point of differentiation. A point of differentiation is that you're not required to do it, but in this day and age, if you want to do it, you can do it, and you may get great pricing. But if you're also doing your own deals, or you're in multiple businesses, you have the freedom to choose, and you also have the freedom to choose on the hardware side, both one way and the other. So I think that these are clearly points of differentiation, plus being an international provider. Many people hit that stumbling block when they try to go international, whether it's software or hardware. they can't find, the solution that has global, pieces to it and alternatives.
Yes, absolutely correct. And they also sometimes are not able to find solutions that we're able to build on top of our products. I mentioned our wallet product earlier. We also have a data platform product, right, where we can bring in data from many different sources, including all of our products, right, and help customers do deeper analytics on that data as well. So
Well, can you just go into that just a little bit? So, if they're getting this is to bring in other data sources in, or other data that they're using that are within that ecosystem of their, store systems. Is that what we're talking about here?
yes, absolutely. The more data we can bring in from more of our touch points with our customers across our product suite, the the more robust picture we can provide for our brands on how their business works in conjunction with their guests.
So I did some podcasts over the last couple of weeks, and we were talking about what the key buzzwords are going to be in 2025. And one of those key buzzwords, had to do with data integration. Data analytics is an old one.
Yes.
Okay, it's not so old, but it's an old one that's out there. But we were talking about how customers now have so much access to data that anybody that can go ahead and utilize tools to consolidate that data, bring it together, and then put it out into a meaningful way that a customer can use it, that is going to be the key going forward.
Absolutely agreed. There's analytics to help for things like understanding. There's analytics to help with things like marketing. Can I look at the purchase history for my guests and form a flavor profile and make sure that I market to them in ways that are, compatible with their flavor profile? But also, what are the aspects of the data that I can operationalize, right? How do I actually start making changes to the way I run my business as well?
Making changes and maybe giving them suggestions when they need to make a change.
Yes, being proactive or prescriptive about trends that we see.
You may have well in your one segment. You may have started when you came over in the fast casual segment. I mean, Par for years was known in the QSR, but QSR is more than just taking a counter order or something today, especially with the amount of things that go through the drive-through or walk-up kiosks. These are all areas that have specialty applications and products. And I saw firsthand last year at NRF that PAR is actually a leader in those areas as well. Maybe you could talk about some industry segmentation products.
Yeah, so there's a lot of work that we've done, as we've always done in the QSR space. We recently announced a new product from our hardware team called Par Clear, and it takes the drive-through experience and it makes it digital. So gone are the days when you hear the sort of the crackly lines as the person takes your order. We have a digital phased array microphone out in the drive-through that not only enables a clearer, crisper, and more accurate order taking experience, but it also is a key enabler for AI or natural language processing assisted order taking. We expect to see, we have multiple partners there today, and we expect to see a lot more of that in the future. Whether it's AI assisted order taking or whether it's AI only order taking, or whether it's still a person taking the order, right? We want to make sure that we're there to serve the brands in the way that they're looking for. But in our point of sale, we also continue to invest in things like multi-lane drive-throughs. We can support drive-throughs with multiple order confirmation boards and other types of things. We can support configurations where they have dedicated lanes for pickup. There's a lot of flexibility in our software to really allow the operators to really to go as crazy as they want in terms of.
Hey, what about the other end, like the headsets and the order taking on the inside?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Par Clear solution is not just a menu board; it does also include digital headsets, and those headsets not only work as traditional headsets, but we have APIs that allow other software in the restaurant to maybe, if there's an alert that people need to be notified about, we can now articulate that with a voice over the headsets as well. We can tell the staff about things like it's time to clean your
Make them
parking
feel
lot.
comfortable in it. Do
Yeah.
they get to pick the voice they want?
Uh, Today they don't get to pick the voice that they want. We may be able to change that in the future.
That might calm their nerves, right? Make them feel a little bit better. They get that nice sensitive voice. Hey, you need to, do that. But those are certainly some of the options with the voice options that are out there and the language translation skills, that you can just see, being applied to this. And then there are other parts and pieces. What about kiosks and online ordering?
Yeah. So there was another acquisition we made, Menu, which is our digital ordering and online ordering product. That product also does support kiosk-based ordering. Right. The digital mobile experience and the kiosk experience share commonalities in that they're very digital, so that we provide these solutions out of our guest engagement group, which is a team that works along with our loyalty products, more with the chief digital officers and the chief marketing officers, and they're very digital intensive solutions. So
Wait. I just need to understand. I've never really actually heard within a supplier the idea of a guest engagement group. So, what is their mission in life?
their mission really is they work with chief digital officers and chief marketing officers. And again, it encompasses our loyalty solutions and our digital guest engagement solutions. And the idea is that those are unified, right? When you're ordering, loyalty becomes part of the experience. And when you're interacting with loyalty, you're doing it through your digital interface to the brand. So we
So, you're not
recognize.
just selling people a product, you're actually engaged with them and helping them to figure out how the best way is, because no customer is the same and their guests are not the same.
Absolutely correct. We're geared towards the enterprise customer, and we help them manage their own engagement with their customers.
So, I'm just thinking about the check boxes right now, that if somebody were building a food service operation, what would they be asking about? So we've covered an awful lot. We've covered hardware, software. We've covered services to some extent, because you did say the thing about W-2 service people, which means that you own it, which means that you're going to get a higher standard of service, coming out of that, which that nuance may be lost sometimes. We've talked about everything from loyalty to drive-through to headsets to order taking to online payment, to back office inventory ordering, the back office piece. And we've talked about different versions of point of sale that can work around the world with a international hardware product.
Yes,
Did I miss something in there?
I think you've gotten most of it, and I think the point is to reemphasize that we work hard to make sure that our solutions always work better together, but we always remain open for choice. When you use more of our products, we have opportunities to unify services like support. We have opportunities to unify billing. And so there are many different ways that our value can manifest, not just inside the four walls of the restaurant, but in managing, your technology provider relationship as well.
Now, you did use the word enterprise in here. So, are we to assume that PAR's focus is only on enterprise, or are you also selling to the small, the medium, and the emerging and growth companies?
Yes, we sell to all the above, and we always have, small to emerging, all the way up through enterprise. Our product, can handle a 5 and a 10 restaurant unit chain easily. But you also know that we're one of the few solutions that has been able to scale up really to multiple thousands of restaurants in one brand running on our solution as well. And so, really, probably the only place that we don't play is, the mom and pop, one or two restaurant space. Although if they're
So,
busy
let me ask.
restaurants, we can do it.
I get that. So let me ask you this, with your strategy hat on again. Um, so, the future is moving very quickly in the restaurant industry, globally. What do you see are the emerging trends that are out there, and how has PAR positioned itself to be able to meet and grow with you as those trends come to fruition?
Yeah, there's always going to be rising food costs, right? There's always going to be rising labor costs. Our goal is to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help enable and empower our customers. We know that the restaurant of the future is much more technologically enabled, but we're also very aware that we don't want the technology to be front and center. We think we're best when our technology is ambient. It becomes part of the process as opposed to something that stands out in the process. You'll have heard us say,
You cannot define the culture and you cannot define the service and how somebody wants to be seen, but you can enable it. And I think that word ambient and being part of it, actually makes an awful lot of sense.
Yes, we think that ambient software is the best kind of software. Uh, but we also know that there's much more to come with AI in the future. We know that there's much more to come with automation. And so we have a dual strategy of investing aggressively in the products we have to make sure that they're staying best of breed while continuing to acquire. You're going to see us start to focus on things like enabling industrial automation in restaurants and those types of things. We're not
You're
going
going to
to.
need to do that because of robotics down the road.
Yes, we probably would not be the company producing the robotics, but we probably would be the company telling the robotics what to make and when and how.
Well, if you think about it, you offer people management tools today. And what is, the difference is, managing more efficiently, effectively, and consistently. And robotics may be the end all, just like training an employee properly, but, you have to give them the information and tools to do it. And so the situation you're in is the same.
Yes, absolutely. And we have an awful lot of information about who's in the restaurant and what they're ordering. And so we think we have the ability to be the source of those signals in the automated restaurants as well.
Hey, one thing that stands out about PAR that I've noticed, because I've been to your users group meetings before and I've talked to your users, you have a very loyal base, but it's not about the loyalty of the base, but it's about the relationship that you strike up with the customers. So, how do you maintain how do you start up a new relationship with a customer to make sure that you're providing exactly what they want? And by the way, in this world, they may need some advice and counsel. And then how do you continuously maintain that relationship so you're really part of the family?
Well, I can talk about the structures we've built to make sure that we can deliver these things systemically, but I think you hit on the key point. Every brand is unique. Every brand has unique challenges, and we find those challenges. I find those challenges to be why I wake up and come to work each morning. I don't want every customer to be the same. I think we always seek to understand, what the needs of our customers are, and then we bring solutions, our better together solutions, to the table, and we present them as possibilities for the customer. But many times we also find ourselves engaging in what are the nuanced things that make your brand unique and competitive, and how do we support those. Oftentimes having very configurable, flexible software, we can adapt our software to their needs. Sometimes it means that we have to change the way our software works. And so,
Well, I will tell you, I'm still stuck on the client engagement piece there, or customer engagement piece, because it also occurs to me that helps people to put forward their voice and the way that makes them different, not you different, but them different, that you're actually able to help them to bring that forward in how they provide these solutions customer facing to the guest.
yes, absolutely. It's our job and it's our commitment, right, to find out what makes them successful and to make sure that we double down on that as we engage with those brands.
Just sort of a final question for you. You guys have been partners of the IFBTA for quite a while. And, why did you join the IFBTA? Why do you continue to be part of it? What's the value and how's the partnership work for you?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, we very much agree with the IFBTA mission. It's something that resonates with us, and so we find ourselves to be aligned. I would say that we value the team at the IFBTA. We enjoy working with them, and your members. You guys have amazing members. Many of them are customers. Not all of them are. And we always want to be where our customers are, ready to engage with them and make sure that we're learning the things that we don't know yet, and that we're present to make sure that our voice is part of the conversation. And the IFBTA gives us that opportunity.
Well, as we say in the IFBTA, we're better together.
Yes,
Oh, wait a minute.
that's
So,
our.
so Paul, so I did learn a couple things here that I didn't know before, but also my takeaways on this. Besides all the different solutions that you have, the globalization that you have, the personalization that you have, and your approach to the industry, and all of the different segments from small to medium up to large enterprise. The one thing that I think I've come together with, and these are differentiation points here, is the better together, which could mean better together with the client, better together with all of your different parts and pieces, or even working with theirs in a single ecosystem. But I did also catch, I believe it was flexibility for choice, or flex for choice. I think that that's important as well, because in this market, people do need choices. They may choose because you're better together, a all-in-one solution, or they may go best of breed because they have multiple solutions, they have legacy systems, and they need to go forward. But I think either way, the word is choice, and how it works, together in the industry and for the customer. And so I really want to thank you, and I want to thank PAR Technology as a industry supporter of the IFBTA, and Paul Rubin, Chief Strategy Officer, Senior Vice President of Product Management of Operator Cloud, and a friend and industry colleague. Thank you for being part of the IFBTA, and thank you for joining us today on Meet Our Member.
My pleasure. Thank you as well. I appreciate the opportunity.